She was hiding behind the counter when I found her, cheek swollen, eyes shaking. "Daddy," she whispered, voice trembling like something fragile about to break. "Please help. Mom's new boyfriend hit me when I refused to call him father." Her words didn't echo. They sank, straight through the ribs, into something older than anger. I didn't say anything. I just nodded, helped her stand, wiped the streak of blood off her lip. Then I took her for ice cream. She tried to smile when the cone was handed to her, but her hands wouldn't stop shaking. I watched the sprinkles melt down her fingers, watched her stare at the floor as if afraid it might open beneath her. When she wasn't looking, I made one call. Calm voice, simple instructions. Nothing dramatic, nothing loud. That night, her mother's boyfriend was found dead in his home. The next morning, I sat by the window with my coffee. The news played softly in the background. Domestic dispute, self-inflicted gunshot wound. They called it tragic. I called it resolved. But I could still hear my daughter's voice. The way she said, "Father," like it tasted like poison. Her mother called later, hysterical, screaming, accusing. I didn't answer. There was something in her tone that I couldn't ignore. Not grief, fear. And beneath that, guilt. I'd seen it before, years ago, in her eyes when she'd lie about where she'd been. The small tells, the too long pause before answering, the sudden shift in tone, the fake surprise when I mentioned his name. Back then, I'd ignored it. I thought love was about forgiveness. But love isn't forgiveness. Love is proof. And she'd destroyed every piece of it long before last night. I didn't sleep. I watched the footage of his house on the news. Police cars, yellow tape, neighbors pretending to care. Then I watched her, my ex-wife, my daughter's mother, on the screen. Crying for the cameras. Tears too measured, voice rehearsed. She said he'd been good to her, that she didn't understand why he'd do it. But I knew. And I knew she was lying. So I started watching. Quietly. Phone logs, bank statements. A few old photos from social media. The things people forget to delete when they move on. I traced her payments, weekend trips, hidden hotel bookings. There was overlap. His name showed up 3 months before our divorce. 3 months before she told me she needed space. I didn't feel rage, just a strange, hollow calm, like the air before a storm that already decided where it's going to strike. I had the report printed, every transaction, every message, every timestamp. When I met her that evening, she came wearing the same perfume she used to wear when she'd lie about late shifts. It almost made me smile. We sat across from each other in silence. The same table where we'd once planned our future. I slid the envelope across. She didn't touch it. "What's this?" she asked. "Proof," I said. She opened it, read the first page, then the second. Her hands started to shake halfway through. By the third, she couldn't breathe. He meant nothing." I didn't respond. I watched her drown in her own words. Then I said quietly, "He hit my daughter." Her lips parted, but nothing came out. The color drained from her face. "I told you I'd never hurt you," I said, "and I didn't." She begged then, softly, desperately, tried to explain, to twist it into something smaller. I let her talk. Every sentence was another rope around her throat. She didn't know the police already ruled his death a suicide. She didn't know the call I made wasn't to a killer, but to someone who knew how to build a story believable enough to end him quietly. She thought she was crying for him, but she was mourning herself. I stood, left the file on the table. "I just wanted you to see," I said, "what the truth looks like when it stops pretending." Her sobs followed me to the door, but I didn't turn. Some things aren't meant to be forgiven. Some are meant to be buried, with witnesses. When I got home, my daughter was asleep. She'd drawn something on the kitchen table, a house, 2 stick figures, and a dog. No mother. The bruise on her cheek had started to fade. Mine hadn't. I sat beside her and watched her breathe. For the first time in years, the silence didn't feel like punishment. It felt earned. In the morning, I'd tell her we were moving. New place, new start, no ghosts allowed. Outside, the sirens were gone. The night had stopped watching me. I poured the rest of my coffee down the sink and looked at my reflection in the window. I didn't look like a hero. I didn't look like a monster either. Just a man who'd finally remembered what control feels like. And control is colder than revenge.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and comment. Subscribe now to Cheating Stories Insight World for more amazing stories.